a bunch of you were in the woods at the exact same time. I'm like really curious to hear in the chats who ran into other people that they are sure were looking for Vale, because I saw at least three instances where people said they either saw someone. I think somebody saw Mandalina saw someone with a trail camera. I'm sorry, a GoPro strap to him. Somebody else heard other people on the trail talking about it. It's really cool.
Yeah,
That you're all kind of
somebody was
seeing the
discussing the
spot.
clue solves while they were walking with their friends. So
Yeah.
that's really awesome for us to hear. Also, if you have like GoPro footage of you hunting for this and you like want to share it, please do. That'd be awesome. Um,
I'm like hoping that YouTubers kind of form from this, because this is the kind of
yeah,
content I love watching on YouTube.
yep. I feel like some of these solves tonight are really going to be eye opening for some people. You may have seen the winner in the woods. Yeah. Did he? Funny. You can tell. Yeah. Did anybody like stop you guys and talk to you about, or like did you talk to anybody about it? I'm just curious as to like what the conversation's like. Are people asking why you're all out there? You know?
Oh yeah, that would be interesting to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if at times the park rangers are like, why are so many people here today?
Just to
Well, it's a
recap
huge
real
park.
quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just to recap real quick. So for Vale 2, the hunt was designed to be found roughly in the 12 to 16 day mark. Even though the official the full length would be 19 days. But so today was day 15. So we were right in that sweet spot again. So we were happy with that, and so we'll get into some solves in a few minutes, and we have a kind of an agenda to talk about and go over some details for the future, etc. But we're pretty happy with how this one went. And we definitely have some ideas on how to make more awesome ones in the future. So
Yeah.
let's see. I think we've got like a pretty good amount of people here.
Okay.
Got 37 people. You want to
Awesome.
start?
Let's give it one more second here. I'm just getting the map situated. I'm going to share my screen in a second. All right, so let's before I share my screen. So you guys know us. We're Jeff and Paul. Our winner's going to join us here in a few minutes. We want to thank you guys. We had nearly, I think it was 1,300 people who signed up for either a free or paid account, which is really cool. So thank every single one of you who played. Thank all of you who are here now and who are so active in Discord. It's so cool. The most fun part for Paul and I've got two fun parts. I love like getting to go out in the woods and find spots to hide with this, but just as fun is hanging out with you guys, day and night. Paul and I both have little kids. We're up like at all hours of the night, and it's really cool that when we're up rocking our kids to sleep at 2 a.m., people are talking about Vale and clues and treasure and that sort of thing. So it's really it's fun for us. So thank you all.
We really love when people like send us their solves throughout. It's exciting for us to see people getting closer or being way off. I mean, we never respond to any of them other than saying like good luck and have fun, But it's fun for us to be able to see you guys work these out, and we like talk about them with So a lot of you have your like common names in our households now, where we're talking about Diddy was over here today, or like, there's a lot of people that we now talk about on the daily. So it's a lot of fun for us to be able to keep up with it.
Mandalina saw Dan in the woods or something, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We do want to say too that
BK is getting ready to drive 25 hours,
right. We do want to say too, Vapok can't join us tonight. He's having some fun family time, so we're happy for that. We also always want to say again thank you to Mysterious Writings, the community over there, and Jenny especially for running that group. Anyone who found us through SD and SD's Quest, again thank you to SD, and Jason and Monica with the Philadelphia Inquirer. I don't know if any of you saw our article in the Inquirer, but Paul and I met with them and did an interview on Monday, so that was really cool. Got like nearly a full page.
It's pretty much a full page. To be honest, it's crazy. It's huge. It's better than we could have ever hoped. So
yeah. So getting into the clue stuff, which I know you're all here for. So our goal, as always, was to give everyone here the opportunity to feel like they can go on an adventure that's accessible. For us, once you leave your front door to go look for Vale, you're on the adventure. That's what's really cool about it, that it could be anywhere. So that's our goal, is to get people outside and exploring the outdoors and whatnot. So many people went out and searched for this one. We had so many of you telling us that you were out and the stream was overflowing its banks, and did you see the bridge that was down, or whatever, sharing all of those stories. It felt like we were on that journey with you. We again, our goal is to tailor our clues here to a variety of interests. So people who are interested in history, you had a very strong lane there. Those of you who like geography and Google Maps, there was a lane there as well. So that's the goal. We've got really great feedback from all of you, and we're looking forward for future hunts that are coming up pretty quickly here. To figure out the best way to take what everyone loved the most from these past hunts and also improve upon it in new fun and exciting ways. Okay, so Paul, unless there's anything else you want to hit, we can I think jump into it.
No, I think we're actively, the only thing I can add to that is we're actively listening to what you guys are saying and trying to make adjustments as we go through. So the next couple hunts are going to be a little bit different, and then after that we might return back to something a little more similar, and we're going to keep kind of messing with the formula until we get a couple options that feel really solid. So just bear with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a little different, and I'm going to we get to something.
Next one's going to be sick. I've been salivating over the next hunt that we're going to do. The idea of that with Paul for literally since the conception of this. So we're really excited. Really excited to get to that. We're not going to give away too much, but it's going to be cool. So we'll start with circle stuff was circle stuff. No trail cam issues this time, thank God. We'll start it off then with the expedition. So the first clue here, we appreciate the feedback on it not being easy enough to read. So we hope that we address that as we were running through there. We've got to figure something out with the graphic resolution on the site. We're working on it. But the clue was hiked west over road. We're going out of order here, so this was technically on day 2, but hike west over road to trail short of water network of trails at bearing 225 to falls. So those of you who were around for Vale 1 or watched our video on Vale 1 and looked at that history as a part of the clue there, this was the journey from the start of Vale 1. So you took the path.
If you scroll down to the bottom too, you could see the corner of what is a Pope symbol that we put down there.
So this was.
It was just signifying. Yeah, it was just signifying that we were kind of following Pope's journey from the old hunt to to the new one.
Yeah, we intentionally.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we intentionally, made it difficult to see in the first one, but as we went further along, you saw this symbol get brighter and larger and appear in more places. The person who found, the first treasure was Pope, so we threw in the Pope, some symbol of the Holy See or whatever it's called. We threw that in here, as a nod, so that anyone who did watch that video would have a little bit more of a, insight that okay, this is the journey that perhaps Pope would have taken from, Vale 1 to Vale 2. The next clue in the expedition traced south and merged into the third brook, kayaked below 7 bridges to river. So there is along this waterway here, which if I zoom in, I should probably have Google Maps up on the side because it shows the waterways more clearly. But let's do that. There are a series of Green Brook is the name of this brook, and then as you work your way south, Green Brook actually merges with 3 other brooks. So I'm going to pull that up on the map here as well. And I know you're to some degree taking me at my word for it, so I don't need to necessarily prove it, but that does happen as you work your way south. There's a brook, I think this is a named brook, Stony Brook, and you merge into another brook, which I don't think this is a named one. No, it's Bonnygut Brook, fun name there. And then the third brook that you merge into is Bound Brook here. And then below 7 bridges, there are 7 bridges that you would pass beneath Green Brook all the way to get to the Raritan River here, and that's where that clue ends. The next clue here, A day. Oh, and also I should add the backgrounds in these. I know we had to zoom in quite a bit, and that was to make sure the text was readable. But these backgrounds were all authentic to where you would be. So this is the background at the Vale One
Garrett is
location.
asking if we can be looking at the map. Are you looking at the map, like solving the, or are you just keeping the? It's up to you. You don't have to.
I did move it up onto the screen unless I'm just sharing a window. Let me make sure
You're
that
just
I'm
sharing a window, yeah, just to make you aware.
okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for that. There we go. Entire screen. Let's do that. Thank you, guys. So I've got the map up. I'll just show again. You start up in Watchung here. Work your way west from the Vale One location. You follow these streams. So then these falls here, Sealy's Waterfall was the end of that clue. You follow this brook south, and you merge with Stony Brook, and then you merge with Bonnie Gut Brook, which is over here, and then the third brook that you merge with is Bound Brook. Okay, and then from there, the 7 bridges that you follow to the river are all bridges that pass over Greenbrook, Bound Brook, I guess it's duly named there, to get to the Raritan River, and that's the end of that expedition, or that day of the expedition. So then the background here for clue number 8. This is a day of portage, first over the bank and road to canal, then 4 locks to tunnel, once more at 140 to creek. Finally, after 22 bridges and 1,000 feet in darkness, which I can't recommend, did not look like it would be fun. But so this day of portage is across over the bank to the canal. So that's right here. And you're traveling down this canal, you'll pass through 4 locks. Once you get to the 4th lock, if you were to go east, I think there were only 3 locks going east, so that if you were to find this thread and know that there aren't that many places that have locks, it should have been somewhat limited anyway. You would follow this all the way down here to Carnegie Lake, and then from there you would take that continuation of the canal all the way down to Trenton. So that would be 22 bridges, the 1,000 feet in darkness. If I turn on the satellite view here, the brook turns into Assunpink Creek, and that dies underneath Market Street here, and then reemerges 1,000 feet later, again as Assunpink Creek. So there's some sort of, it's a tunnel or culvert or something, and then you take that down to the river here.
By this point, a shocking number of you had this correct. I thought it was going to be a little harder. I mean, I'm glad most of you thought of it, but a lot of you were in the correct spot at that point, messaging us yourselves. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, so by this point, the hope is you're on day 8, you're down in Trenton, so we're eliminating everything that wouldn't have made sense for you to move away from in the northern kind of northeastern third of that circle there.
I think your video is frozen, Jeff, but we can hear you just fine.
Okay.
I can't tell by your screen now.
Very possible. Hopefully it's not a bad face. So going back to the clue here, can you still see the screen, share, Paul?
We can see we're still looking at 3.8 screen, so
how about now? Do you see clue 11 now?
Now, why don't you stop share and see if that fixes it?
Okay.
I'm a believer. Let's see. See if Jeff can't get reset here. Pull up. Yeah, technology is always the bane of our existence, but it is what it is. We'll get through it together, guys. Let me just get my document up over here. We'll give Jeff 1 minute to get this figured out. We can get a map pulled up too and just start driving. Let's see. Jeff got swallowed up in the darkness. Yeah, Jeff slept in the tunnel, guys. He never made it out. We're going to get a quick reset. This is the world getting back at us for saying we had no issues with the hunt this time. Let's see. Is he in here? Yeah, he's in here. He should be back on in a second. I was letting him steer, so I'm getting everything pulled up just in case. Yeah, that red clay is rough. It's like all over this region. There's especially like I don't know if you've ever been to like Rutgers, but like if you go to like a tailgate of Rutgers, like your entire life is stained red for weeks. Every part of your body, even if you just like go for a walk after the rain, it's nuts. Let's see. Yeah, I did give out that very mini. I mean, it wasn't really a hint. Is Vale 3 to find him now? Yeah, Jeff has actually lost. So you all need to go grab him. I'm gonna give him one more minute here to figure it out. If not, we'll start moving on to another topic until he comes back. Are there typed recaps? No. So I just post this to YouTube. It'd just be a lot for us to like go through and create that. And we're trying to move pretty quick between hunts now. So, in an ideal world, we're just going to get this one up on YouTube. Everybody can kind of go through and analyze it, and then go from there. I see you now. Yeah, you're there.
Okay. All right, Paul. I'm gonna need you to share the screen. I don't know what's happening with my internet here, so I'm trying to figure that out. But if you could share.
Give me 1 second here. I have stuff pulled up. Hang on. I'm gonna move everything. Share your screen. Make selection. Oh wait, hang on. I gotta share window.
Not the best advertisement for Dell here. It's a brand new Dell, but
Yeah, the mistake was buying a Dell.
yeah. Sorry, one minute.
Just give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just getting it all in an area that you're gonna actually be able to see it. Perfect. Got it. Okay, we're good.
And hopefully I'll be back up restarting in a second.
All right, here we are. We left off on coming in on 411.
Yeah, so I think if you zoom into the words there, I don't know if you want to read those. This was after we traveled down to Trenton. So we just saw that one. So if you zoom into that and want to read off that clue, Paul.
1 second. Yep. If it lets me. Almost there. All right. Past 3 wooded islands, then 2 bridges before stopping for rest on a little islet. And so we'd be going down. We just came out in Trenton over here, heading down the Delaware. 1 island. What did I say? Past what? It got us down here too.
Past 3 islands. So if you show the path from Trenton, Paul, and Delaware there, I forget what the name of the island are, but there are 3 large islands. There's 1 island. It actually is. There's one that looks like an island on the map, but if you look and go down on in other imagery, it's a shoal. It's not actually an island. So there are 3 named islands there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try and join back in.
Up here. Okay. So after this clue, you would have ended up over here. Where am I? At the base of Schuylkill.
Am I back?
Be back? Yeah, you're back. I'll let
Awesome.
you drive here. Jeff's the move guy, guys.
So I'm just pulling up Google Earth. I've got my clues back up.
We need
so share my screen again.
Yeah, you can share.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, we're here still. We just had a couple technical difficulties. Jeff's map. Jeff handles the map clues on these, like the straight line mission and the proximity, and they are pretty complicated at times. I mean, I check them all over, but they get pretty intense. And then I try to run some other solves on them too, but to make sure that there's other possible combinations. What?
Yeah, let's go back to you, Sharon. I don't want people to be waiting with us not figuring it out. So let's just go back to you, and I've got the clues up here. It's just I won't share my screen for some reason.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh wait, now it will. Sorry. We're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna give it a shot, and we're in SD, so hopefully that helps.
All right, there we go.
Okay. So sorry again about that, guys. So the next clue here was a hard paddle north after we made it down the Delaware River. Actually, I skipped through that. So past 3 wooded islands, then 2 bridges before stopping for rest at a loud little islet. So if we pull over the map here, can you still see my screen all right, Paul?
Yep.
Awesome. So once you pass through the 3 islands from Trenton, the first, this is actually not an island. For those of you wondering, you can't actually pass on both sides there. It's the creek. As you move down here, the first island is whose name I forget, Nubola Island. That's a name. Then we've got Burlington Island, and the third island is down. Did I pass that? I didn't pass it. Here it is. Petty Island.
Yep. Petty Island.
And then from there, you've got 2 bridges. And then this clue tells us we stopped at an islet. So we know we're between the second bridge and the third bridge. So we're at a small little islet. There's 3 islands, that could be in the running here. So this is the islet we're at. The following clue, a hard paddle north, portage 3 dams and 3 islands more. So here we're traveling due north up the Schuylkill River. It's a hard paddle because we're going upstream. 3 dams. The first dam is the dam here by the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the Fairmount Dam. There's another dam as we move forward it's in Norristown. There's the next dam, Flat Rock Dam. And then the third dam is a little further here. The Upper Marion, what's this dam? Norristown Dam. So from here, the clue is then 3 islands. I think there's 3 islands more. Yeah, 3 islands more. So if you look, some of you I saw you had questioned is it 3 islands or 4 islands? And I think you were probably wondering what happened with this island here. If you look down on the map, the portage location for this dam is actually on the south side. So if you're going to portage the dam, you come up through here. There's a little sign out actually in front of the park here for portage. You would pass over the dam there, and then you would not have any awareness to any island on the other side. So we pass through the big island here, Barbados Island, and then our second island is this one here. And then our third island is right here, almost at the confluence of Perkiomen Creek. So from here, this is the last clue that we got to. The next clue, which I actually had opened before my computer crashed, I'll pull that back up. But basically what it did is it took you up Perkiomen Creek, a certain length. Once you're up Perkiomen Creek, it brought you to Skipback Creek, which I'm pretty sure is this one here. Yep. And then once you got through Skipback Creek, you followed it up through the park under a certain number of bridges, and then a certain distance, basically past the final bridge. So I forget what the quantity of bridges was, but it brought you up to this point up here.
Just give me 1 second. I'll tell you right now. Come on, here we go.
Awesome. So that expedition clue, the reveal of that expedition clue was probably about as complicated as some as you felt the real clue was. But once you figured out the start location, then you should have been all right. But the way that we like to design our clues, and I'll try Sharon again so that see if that comes through. The way that we like to design our clues is you start narrow, then it widens in the middle of the clue to give people a chance to kind of get in there, and then it narrows again. So that wider portion, if you remember from Vale 1, we had like the military base. That was like a wide area. There were few of those. The same thing we tried to apply in the same spot in the hunt for canals, because we knew that locks, there weren't going to be a ton of locks, so not a ton of options for that. So now we are at the location of Vale 2. I'm going to drop that pin on the map. We're going to zoom right in. And next, we're going to go through the door clues. So I've got them up on the screen here. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, just to give you a little bit of yeah, it was in Evansburg. Yeah, just to give you a little bit of background on the window clues. So the interesting part behind all of this is that if you pull up the map here, Jeff.
Yeah.
The window we are looking through, if you scroll in on V2, is the Historical Society door, and you are looking out directly as to where the treasure was laid. So you
So you'll go ahead. Sorry.
You go.
Yeah, so the location for this, yes, the door is the Historical Society door. So any of you, if you got on the thread of Evansburg State Park and you looked at the Wikipedia page or went to the Skippack Historical Society site, where the Wikipedia page mentions Indenhofen Farm, which is the farmhouse here. So that is why we thought we were like in bigger risk reward territory, because yes, it was a much more narrow clue than say the glitches from last time. But if you did find that, read that Indenhofen Farm was here, it was going to be, a significant, advantage to unlocking that.
You're literally looking out from the front door. We'll show you in a second, but yeah.
Yeah, so the first clue here, this is Wigwam, the redemption of the Wigwam, which may or may not have been fully redeemed. I tried so hard to get these the arches, the saplings to be a little bit thinner, read a little bit thinner. So much effort went into making this Wigwam look appropriate. But the goal of this clue is that we showed the Quakers, meeting with the Native Americans. That we know that was primarily a thing that happened in Pennsylvania. Thanks in large part to William Penn there. So they came with their offerings for the Quakers there in purchase for the Native Americans there, which was a purchase of their land. And that at that point, this was day one. This would have keyed most people in to say, you know what, we're probably not in New Jersey or New York or Maryland or however much, Delaware, however much of those other places were in the. Next,
also, this is. What did we buy the land for? It was two beaver pelts and.
Oh yeah. That was what William Penn's tithe, I guess, that he had to pay the king every year was 2 beaver pelts, and I think 20% of all gold that he found.
Yeah.
So that's like part of what they're, in trading with the Native Americans, like that's like part of what they were looking for. So this is a view out the front door. We went to the Skippack Historical Society. They told us we're allowed to take photos in there. So we took the photo. The image back here was recreated very, very accurately to what you would have seen from this, if you were there at that time. And we have some aerial imagery that we'll pull up in a minute to show that too. So this was the view of the Indenhofen Farm all the way down to the river there. You can see the irrigation canal here, which will show the 60s. It was actually still visible then.
The door is real. The door is 100% real.
The door is real, and you'll see what the actual door looks like in a moment here. The next, if you guys look at the Skippack Historical Society website, you'll see they've got a breakdown of all the things that happened at this location in Skippack and also in, at the Indenhofen Farm. And one of those things that happened was this petition here, and this is actually noted in a few places on the internet, but the Skippack Historical Society, there's a big thing about it. There's a Germantown, I think, Historical Society also has a big write-up about this petition happening, but this happened at the exact time they think that the Indenhofen Farm was built. And that petition was to build a road to Philadelphia. I think it was 30 landowners or 20 something landowners got together and said, look, we need a road. Like, we can't be, having real farms out here and have no way to get to the city. So they petitioned to do that. The next clue, this is the clue that we thought was going to give it all away. So this is I won't say the death of, but the imminent death of General Nash following the Battle of Germantown, I believe it was. He was badly injured in the face, unrecognizable in the face, and also in the hip. Was severely injured. So they brought him to the Indenhofen house, and the owner of the farm there, of the home there, said, "No, you're not not here. You got to go to my brother's house. They sent him down. They sent him down the road 2 miles away to his brother's house, where the quote was that he soaked with blood through 2 feather beds and then died. I think 2 days later. So this shows another significant thing that happened at the very location that you can go and stand right now, which is cool. Yeah. So then in the 1960s, Project 70 was something that the state of Pennsylvania created to actually promote the preservation of historical sites and to plan new parks and open space. And it got so convoluted by the bureaucracy of the government and whoever was actually running the department within the state at the time that they were going to flood. They're going to dam the Skippack Creek and make a huge long lake, and it was going to flood out like dozens and dozens of historical properties.
Yeah,
so they went through
22 miles of frontage that they were going to make. So pretty much the entire lake would have had, entire park would have been covered in lake frontage.
Yeah. So while we know that there was a house here, we don't know exactly what it looked like other than how it looked in the 1960s satellite view. But we did add this say no to Project 70 just as another connection to
that is the location of the house across the street from the Historical Society that was torn down.
Yeah, pretty darn close. Might have been a few feet over to the left. We wanted to get it in the view there. But yeah, so then with Project 70, they actually came and they leveled dozens of historical homes. There are a number of other homes that were confiscated through eminent domain that actually are still in Skippack, in Evansburg State Park, abandoned in the woods. I don't think you're supposed to go there, but you could. So yeah, they leveled.
One of them as a location. There was one spot that had like a really good George Washington connection to it that we also almost went to.
Yeah, I was going to pull that up in a second too. That's actually a home that's just in the distance here, where we almost placed it, and we'll show you on the map here. Which is actually, I've got a pin for it. So George Washington's headquarters was actually right up at this exact location. There was a house there that was also leveled in the 1960s, which one of you did a Photoshop job that showed a bulldozer coming down the front door. That's what the view would have been, had we gone with that location. But that location was much closer to a road, and we thought, this is historically significant enough that maybe other people like us might traipse their way back there at some point. But the way we found is we took historical maps and overlaid them, within I would say within 5 or 10 feet. We know that that's the spot.
Yeah.
Okay. And the house, this also shows the house is kind of beaten down a little bit. This was right before the Skippack Historical Society purchased the property from the state, or I don't know if they purchased it or if they have a conservatorship of it or whatever it is, but they took over and they renovated the house. So that's also what that's meant. So what the next clue would have been, which you haven't seen, would have been this. This is the actual photo that we took from inside the house. Looking out onto the street there, and we were going to show the Vale treasure in the exact location that it's in from this photo. Now you might say, it looks like it's floating up in the tree. How would we have known that? But if you would have swapped back and forth between the images, you would have seen that we placed it identically just above the irrigation here. If you dug up 1960s maps, late 60s maps that were from the time that this, the eminent domain happened, and you zoom into the farm, which is down where? Do I have the wrong one up? I think I opened the wrong one.
Well, you get the right one open up. Nick Cap just asked, if we flesh out all the clues before we hide it. So for the most part, we do. The only one that we can't really do or can't really account for exactly is the proximity clues. They kind of need to be locked in afterwards. But everything else we research before going to a location. And even picking a park, we kind of had the expedition clues already kind of figured out.
Yeah,
you saw on the first image, right center. Oh, on the first image, right center.
Sorry, I'm pulling it up. I've got it right here. I had all this stuff. I swear.
The map solve clues. Just talking about the what we have to do afterwards, like the map solve clues, because of the exact location that we have to be, we have to be able to pinpoint the exact location of the treasure. Those end up, naturally shifting a little bit. So we usually lock them in after.
Yeah. So here's the, if you guys can see the screen here, can you see the satellite image, Paul? Or I guess I don't know if it was satellites in the 60s. It was probably just a plane. But this is the house right here. There's the irrigation kind of canal here. So we captured that. Then along the creek, there's the forest, the wooded area. So we captured that. Oops, if I close out here. Too many things open. So we as realistically as we could capture that, we did that here.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, so then you flip back and you see that this is okay, just past the where the irrigation ditch was, and that's the location.
We appreciate
one
that.
thing that
He said that he appreciates the effort that we put in. We put in as much work creating them as they put in solving them. It is a painful process to create them. And
it is fun. Go ahead. Painstaking process. Sorry. It takes we don't want anyone to feel like we're mailing it in at any point, and sometimes I think we probably spend a little bit too much time on things that we could do less on, but we don't want to lose that that trust with you guys. So we put that much effort into it. It takes a lot, but we're excited doing it because we're learning about these places that before we explore them, and then again more so after we explore them. So this was a fun one. This was fun. Definitely more boom or bust than the glitch, equivalent.
Why you have
then lastly,
that V2 right there is the spot of the treasure from satellite imagery.
Yep. Yeah, V2. Yeah, that's the V2 pin
right across the street from the house there. That house at the corner.
That's exactly right. Yeah, there's the house, and we said for every one of these clues, you will get to the location. Every clue type will get you to the exact location. So once you've figured out that this was the farm, knowing okay, they've got to. What are the options? They've got to have someone standing there with an arrow that says 12 miles that way, or which is not fun, or it would be the view from. So lastly, we have the proximities. I've got those right here.
I want to know how many circles people had going at all time. Like, I know Andrew was sending us a couple solves that he had, and he would have like a good 30 different combinations on any screenshot he was sending me. So I'm curious as to how many circles people had going. We ran a lot of combinations of these, a lot. Dozens of each. Yeah, there we go. Nice job, BK. We had a lot of combinations running these to make sure that we were successfully eliminating some parks at all times, and then also making sure we we're keeping some options in play.
Yeah.
I love all these. This is great. So this was it's a lot of fun to see that you guys were kind of working them out the same way and getting to the same conclusions.
Yeah, and just like with the straight line missions from Vale 1, and with the first one of these, you're not eliminating a ton. You might be eliminating parts of certain parks. The goal is not for you to whittle down and find, okay, this is the one spot that remains. It's okay, I'm going to go out and look in this area today. Let me see if there's a school 6 miles, give or take, from this. Earlier on, this actually, it eliminated chunks of a number of parks in really rural areas, but down in the more inhabited places, like where the treasure was hidden, certainly it wasn't going to be eliminating much. This school is, I forget the name of it, but it's Souderton Area High School is where this one was. So that's the line there. The next clue is baseball field. So you're 5 miles, give or take, 0.4 from Vale there. The baseball field, if I turn that circle on, I think it was over here, but I could be mistaken. Yep, this one over here. So there are baseball fields here. There's actually one other baseball field too that would have been in this range. So you would have two ranges that could have gotten you there. And from this point, the method that we use or would use to do this is, we do it in reverse. We draw outward from Vale, but you would find the circle. So you would find the baseball field and then draw your 5 mile radius from that, and that's how you get your arcs running through the location. Again, accurate to what the field actually is out there. We don't use, some of you might have seen this in the article in the Inquirer this week, we don't use real images from the internet. We source a lot of real images, and then we have to either Photoshop them significantly or bring them into AI and do like a process through that, because otherwise reverse image search would kind of screw the whole thing. So we've got to like really be careful to make sure that we're not, not
ChatGPT is really good at identifying a lot of stuff now, and even other ones too. So we have to try and eliminate that possibility.
Yeah. So next up is an island. So we see, a little glimpse of us standing on the shore of the island here. This island is right here. There were actually 2 islands that were within this band. So this was one of them. The next range here, if we go to the next clue, bus depot. So, and when I say we painstakingly recreated these clues, I'm going to show you the exact spot in this bus depot that we're standing. So this is down, and I think a few of you did find this school district here. This is the First Student Inc. Bus depot here. You can see, maybe it's in Google Maps that you can see the lines a little more clearly. I'm going to show you just because I want to prove how much effort goes into this. Where are we at? Not the prison. Second here. So if we look down in the lot here, you can see that they're the yellow diagonal lines. Where this camera perspective is being taken, we recreated this with AI and with Photoshop. You're standing right here in this triangle, looking down the empty parking lot there. So we want to give it this level of attention because we want you guys to be able to limit it down. When there's 100 schools, maybe it could be one of these 2 or 3 schools. So that's that's how much we. And then the next proximity, which you guys didn't get to, is going to be a dojo. There were going to be 2 dojos that bisected Evansburg. There aren't many dojos out there, and that line we can actually show you what that looks like. Yes, we put that level of detail into the ball field. So if I turn the dojo one on, the dojo was out here, but I got the dojo arcs on as well. Yep. So let me rework this north here. So the 2 dojos, if I turn off the other arcs here, if you were to put a center point on the dojos near Evansburg, you would have found these 3 arcs. Actually, there's another tiny clip of another one that would have passed through it, but these would have been the areas.
One part of it's 2 dojos, cutting across the different points.
Yes, yeah. So one of the circles was here, and it was down there. So we would have been square in the middle of that. And then the last one, which we didn't get to, was going to be the Blue Comet Motorcycle Club. You would have been on a 1 mile exactly arc from that, and that is somewhere out here is the Blue Comet Motorcycle. We weren't going to admit as that, but we were going to show a Blue Comet and a motorcycle, and we would have, and it would have said Motorcycle Club, the Veil Finder. Okay. So those are the solves. Very curious to hear how many of you think that perhaps it was, like, oh my God, like I saw Indenhofen Farm 10 times and I just didn't think, or whatever that was. Really, really looking forward to hearing your feedback. I'm gonna stop sharing here for a second, and pull up a few other talking points here. We've got to get to our finder in a second, and we're going to hear from the finder and their experience, how they were able to get to the spot. Are they on, Paul?
They are, yeah. Hang on, I can grant them permission.
They are. All right, so the finder of Veil 2, without further ado.
How do I give him permission to speak? Can you request permission to speak?
Should be able to. He spoke last time. Oh, gave it away. It was Pope, guys. Pope found it again. I can't believe it. We thought that this one was somewhat Pope-proof, given its proximity to where he lives. But Pope was out there, and we almost. I gotta say, I almost felt bad because Paul and I were like, man, obviously Pope's good at this. We hope other people get a chance to feel that excitement and that joy and whatnot. But Pope
to speak
on day 15. He made his excursion from New York City, and a couple of times he drove down, and I know Pope was really on day 11 as well. And
a little bit further this time, from State College, PA this time.
Wow, man.
So,
how's it going, Pope?
Wow. So,
good.
Congratulations, Pope. I got to say, I met Pope in the flesh today for the first time when I got the trail cam back, and we met Paul. I met Pope at a very Vale type place. It's where we had the rehearsal dinner for my wedding when Paul ate pecans and almost killed himself, and had to leave the rehearsal dinner for my wedding. It brought back
Right.
a nightmare.
A quick trip to the ER and I was back in action.
Yeah. So Pope, congratulations, man. From the jump, we knew that you were definitely going to be a serious contender here. I guess, can you tell us a little bit about what this hunt was like for you? And then we can, talk about trail cam and weather, and certainly which clues kind of led you in the direction.
Yeah, I kind of had a similar experience to the first Vale hunt, where there is an enormous amount of information in the first 2 or 3 days from the weather. And then it just stagnates because the hints don't catch up with what you know with the weather. The weather can only get so refined. You can only get it down to 20, 50 miles or something like that. You can't actually get, it's exactly here. So then you have to wait for catch up for the hints to catch up to your area and then further whittle it down. So I think it was on the first day of the hunt. I messaged both Diddy and yourself that the best weather 6 hours into the hunt matching it was Evansburg State Park. But I couldn't go boots on the ground with just a park, and I really needed some more data because, as we all know, that park is huge and it's dense and it's just impossible to get through some parts of it. So I didn't really have a good set of points until the baseball ones, because the problem with the schools and the other one that was before that is that there's so many of them that you can literally pick any point in Evansburg State Park and there will be a school in that 6 mile circle, whether it's a Methodist school or a art school. There is always going to be a school within that 6 mile radius. So yeah, basically with the baseball fields that had about 40 or 50 intersecting points in Evansburg, and then the one that narrowed it down a lot was the bus depot, and that narrowed it down to less than 10 locations. I think it was 8 locations. So Tuesday, the first boots on the ground I had a chance with was Tuesday night with Diddy. We only had time to check 2 locations. The first location we checked was the correct one, but somehow we walked within 30 feet of it and never saw it. So I came back again this morning. I came back from State College, PA to the New Jersey, New York area yesterday, and then rented a car at 2 a.m., or I had to get up at 2 to rent the car so I could be at the park at sunrise. So starting at 5 a.m. or 5:30, whatever sunrise was, I was looking through the entire southern part of the park, like where the bus depot, not the STA bus depot, the one that wasn't correct, was intersecting a lot of points right at the southern end of the park. So I was tromping through the woods, and then finally, just when I checked every point, I'm like, all right, I'll just check the point that we did in the dark again, just in case we missed it. And this was about 8 at this point, so 3 hours of walking through the woods, checking the points, and about 5 minutes into the woods, it was there. I will say, compared to Tuesday night, there was about a foot of water under everything. Way, way wetter than even Tuesday night with all the rain. I don't know how that happened, but luckily it wasn't cold. It's just really wet.
There was an absolute downpour that passed through like a few hours after you found it. So it's a good thing that you did, because I was looking at the rain where we live and I was like worried that had people been out there, it would have been bad. But I actually was going to ask the same thing, John Rocket. So how much time do you put into this Vale 1, Vale 2? Let's talk about Vale 2. How much of your time at home do you put into trying to figure out where it is?
In terms of research, it probably took me only 30 minutes or so to find the Skippack Historical Society information. The big time crunch is it took me 4 or 5 hours of plotting all the arcs in Google Earth. So that's the big time crunch. With the Skippack Historical Society, it was helpful that even though the pages were coming up as this page has moved, I just put them into the Wayback Machine and was able to see everything.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And what was your total round trip time between both days that you went to go search? For actual boots on the ground?
Well, not bad because on Tuesday when we did it was already night, so it was only 2 hours each way. This morning it was 2 hours, right? Because it's 2 a.m. No one's on the road. The way back took about 3.5, just because it was kind of rush hour at that point.
That's
So what does
you
your
have a heavy level
family?
of commitment going. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. What does your family think? Like, have you told them like, yeah, I'm doing the treasure hunt thing again, but you're winning it, so it's not like what are their thoughts on it?
Well, good question. I've been geocaching for not tens, 10 years now, and I think to them it's just kind of like another geocache thing. I mean, they're happy that there's a cache thing involved, but I don't think the full nuance of it is understood.
Yeah, like the burning the midnight oil over Google Maps and whatnot. Yeah.
I mean, it is
Well,
hard too. You're doing something that right now 1,300 people are also trying to do it. It's a difficult thing to be able to be the first one to get there. I mean, there were a lot of people in the right area, the right park searching, and so it's awesome. Your level of dedication is getting you there.
And unlike
I'm
some
gonna-
of these guys, I did have to work 9 to 5 every single day, so I had to work around that schedule too.
Yeah, and it was by the time you found it, it was day 15. That's it's not like a lot of people were in the area. I think there was a lot of people who had an opportunity, to get there. I do want to know, and I want to bring this up too. How many of you made it to this area and felt like you were close? And I ask because when I went to go hide the treasure, I did not know that there was going to be construction. There wasn't supposed to be construction going on. I guess it started not that long prior. And I thought like, oh man, like I can't hide it here. Like it's like such a pain to get out here. Where am I going to go? And then I thought, wait a second. It's a pain for me to get there. It's going to be a pain for everybody to get there. Maybe I should just do it.
If you just
I'm glad that
bushwhack straight through from the historical society, it's actually pretty clear.
Is that where you parked?
Yes.
Okay. There was like a pull off lot actually just down here that was within the boundaries of the park. It was like a gravel lot, so I just popped over there. But this is my original plan was to park in one of these over here and cross over by the trolley bridge. The trolley bridge was actually almost a clue. There used to be a trolley that ran right down this road. That was going to be our clue actually no, with the last window clue. But then we decided to go with the Project 70 because we thought, okay, there's only 2 trolley lines that ran through the park. But yeah, that's exactly what I did was bushwhack. I kind of thought most people would be going to a parking lot. Question for you, Pope, and then we'll open it up to a Q&A from everybody here. If I know you're not trying to give advice to competitors in the game here, but since you obviously have established yourself as someone who's like really good at this, is there any advice that you could give to others?
Well, take careful consideration of trail density. A lot of things were ruled out in Evansburg State Park because they're too close to trails. So out of the 58 or so intersections I mentioned earlier, only 20 or so were more than 100 feet from trails, which I don't think you would ever hide something within 100 feet of a trail. The other thing is
Well, now
the weather helps enormously in the first few days.
Yeah, the weather actually for both Vale 1 and Vale 2, we had some significant storms roll in on like day 2 or 3, or really day 1 for this one. So that is something to be mindful of too. I will say that for our end and making sure that it doesn't skew things too much, we are definitely going to be reducing trail cam intervals a little bit. We think we might drop down to 2 hours for the next one. We'll see. We also have a new mount for our cams so that we can reveal a little bit less of what's going on in the background. So we've got some things that we're doing to make it not so more fair, or no, I won't say fair, more even between the different clue types.
Won't be quite as
Although I
janky
will say,
either. You won't find a stick
it's
to popping the camera. Yeah.
I will say though, like with this one, so Pope found at day 15, if you got on the Skip Back Historical Society thread and thought, well, let me just search around in front of that, which I know a number of you did, like certainly could have been found, much. And we were worried it was going to be found in the first 5 days. We were like calling each other like, oh man, we messed up. It's going to be over.
Yeah. We made it to the range that we thought we would, though. That was the goal, and but for the last couple of days, we really thought that it was going to go sooner. Let's see. Any other questions?
The trail cam is to show people who are signing up that that it's still out there, and we don't want them to have to take our word for it that we've updated it in real time. We want people to see when it's there. But we can reduce it to any kind of frequency. Yeah. What's up?
I think one more important thing that helped was a lot of areas of the park down by the creek are kind of canyonated. Like on each side, there's these big cliffs, and I noticed that we get this bright sun that appears during most of the day, and these areas did not get any sun in the park. So it stood to reason that we were in a very flat area of the park. We could not be in these very hilly valleys.
That's true too. Yeah.
Love the attention to detail that you have for that. That's awesome. Yeah, so some of these changes we're talking about will definitely limit a little bit of the impact that weather can have on us, or give us a wider margin of error, which is kind of where we're trying. We don't want to take it out of the game. We think it's definitely a viable way to get to a solve, and we think that's important to keep as an element of the game. But we do need to make it as a little bit harder.
What's fun about our hunt is that there are maybe not five, but 4 different paths to get in there. You can look at the trail cam, you can use each of the 3 different clue types, and we want to keep it that way. Just finding the right balance, and we think we're actually pretty close. We went to day 15. Day 15 is pretty on the later end of when we thought it would be found. So fine tuning that and the other clue types as well. So I want to open it up to Q&A, and then we'll talk.
One more thing to add on to that. It is important. An important feature that is part of the paid tier is that you do get the archive for the camera, so you don't need to sit there and watch it every time it updates throughout the day, and that really helps you kind of deduce some history for weather and stuff like that. So we're looking at everything, seeing how we can improve that even and figure out a way to keep the game flowing in a good natural way.
If it's at hourly intervals like it is, then I don't even know if it's possible to fix. There was 30 to 40% of them had errors. You couldn't even view them in the archive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can. Oh, they should all be there. I can see them all there.
We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, thank you.
They originally appeared and they disappeared later. They became errors.
Okay. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I want to, anybody who has questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat here and we'll read them. We do have another hunt coming up in 7 days from today. It'll be our first city hunt, which is a different type of hunt. We'll share a little bit more about this over the course of the next week, but we're really excited for it. It's something that we've been trying to do for a while. I know some of you have heard of us talk about themed hunts with energy canisters and stories that are attached to them. This is in that realm of things. So some good, still some development.
Back here real quick so we can just go over some future stuff. But thank you so much, Pope.
Yeah, thank you, Pope. And if there are any of these questions that shout out to you, then feel free to hop back on, man. Appreciate it.
All right, sorry. Back to talking about the next series, Onward and Upward.
Yeah. So Vale 2. I'm sorry, not Vale 2. First City Hunt. The Philly City Hunt. So it's going to be the circle's posted. It'll be in 7 days from today, and we'll share a little bit more about that. Certainly in the same style of Vales 1 and 2, but there's a lot more connection between the clues, I would say, in a really fun way. Upward,
the circle that is live on the homepage is the next circle. It is a 30-mile diameter, just for you all for reference. It's a much smaller circle.
That's right. Yeah, so we can see that on the as the page loads here. When we say Philly, it's in the Philly region. It has not been hidden yet.
Yeah.
So you don't need. We're not blowing smoke. Just somewhere in the circle here. Our city hunts are going to be small, mini region hunts. So think of it like metropolitan type hunts.
Yeah.
Is it a trophy again? It's a. You're searching for something, is what we'll say. You're searching for a thing. You might call it a trophy. You might call it something else. Yes, it'll be on public. It'll be on public land. Pope said earlier that he's not going to do this one because he's exhausted. I said I don't believe you. I don't think that that's. I don't think that you have it in you to not do it.
Just a couple other things to highlight that are different about this. So it is going to be for a shorter duration. Yeah, you'll notice the prize pool is a little lower just because we're doing something that's so localized, and we're trying out a different game mode. But also the buy-in is reduced as well. So keep an eye on everything's growing. From the start, the pot grows from the start this time. So we're up to 1105 right now. But so we're interested to see how this one kind of unfolds over the next couple weeks. We think it's going to be a really exciting and viable game mode going forward.
After this city hunt, which again will be shorter, we do have either another city hunt. We'll see how this one goes. We'll either do another city hunt in the New York area, or we'll bring in another regional hunt before popping back into the city hunt. But either way, there's plenty more to come over the next 6 weeks. We might have 3 hunts in the next 6 weeks, which is crazy to think about it that way. But that's where we're at right now. Any other questions here? I know we're at an hour, and I apologize for the technical issues earlier, but any other questions? Is a Vale and City Hunt just distinguished by the starting size in your eyes? No. So the Vale hunts are all for the Vale treasure, the trophy that we've been hiding in the woods. The City hunts may or may not have something to do with that, but they'll all have maybe not all have, but the plan at the moment is for them to all have like a deeper connection and more of a story that's kind of attached to them. So that's what we're working with at the moment. It's certainly possible that we just do a small hunt to do a small hunt, and that could be a city hunt. But at least this first city hunt is in that lane.
Yeah. But when we think about like our core mechanics of what we have for the game, like there will still be a trail cam that's going to be updating, the image of it there. There's still going to be a daily food delivery. Yep. Exactly
the same in terms of presentation and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's all going to be the familiar part of it, but the way the information you receive is probably going to be a little bit different. It'll be new, exciting, fun.
That's right. So can we institute a Pope cooldown period? Yeah, maybe we can make Pope Benedict and force him into an early retirement for a brief period here, and then he can come back as Leo.
But he is eligible. He's eligible to play the game. I don't feel it's fair to limit a player just because they're heavily invested in the game. Yeah.
Conclave was awesome. I wasn't expecting to like Conclave, but it was really cool. The guy from Cobble is probably someone on this thread here.
So for Hobbit Risk, we moved back to doing an even split like the first hunt we're doing an even split the whole way basically for the city hunt. So $10 buy-in and then 5 and 5. So we take 5 goes covering our costs, 5 goes into the pot. We think that there's a lot of value into always seeing the pot go up. That's one thing that we kind of, or at least we're assuming right now. So we want to make sure that we're trying to try that out and make sure that it's growing at this point to see how everybody reacts to it. Let's see.
Price going up. If Pope, here's our thought with this is that some people are probably gonna be like, oh man, this person Pope is really good. That's discouraging. Others are probably gonna think this person Pope is so good, like I've got someone to take off the throne now. There's no way that Pope's not gonna win them all. Pope's obviously really good, but I look at it in terms of when it was found and how many people were in the park. I'm sure Pope will be in the running for a lot of them, but there will be there's going to be plenty of hunts to come in the immediate future here. Pretty cool to start off. I said Pope, you started as a hero and you're edging on villain status now, but we'll see. we'll see where it goes.
Couple other questions. Proximity pictures are they're not the actual picture of the location. They're very carefully crafted to look like it. Just we can't have anything be the exact picture because it would be reverse image search, which would be problematic for us.
Yeah, so we spend probably too much time on making sure they look as close as they really should to be a good clue.
Yes, we can post the exact GPS coordinates after. We'll post them in the general for you guys.
Who would go on an expedition? That's a good question, Benny Bosco. And I'll tell you, people were saying you can't kayak in a brook. we started the kayak clues when they were kayakable. I'm sure there were places where you're probably scrubbing the ground and you had to would have to get up and move it, but it's certainly doable. If any of you are looking for, again, a Vail inspired YouTube video, my gosh, I would I would love for somebody to do that. I like watching like source to sea videos. That would be a cool one to see somebody going from the creek, Green Brook in front of Watchung to skip back for no reason.
Mandalina, if there's one thing that we're really good at, it's sending you reminder emails. So don't you worry, you will know for sure when a new hunt is coming your way. Let's see, anything else in here? There's a couple more things about portage for a day. Yeah, could you imagine doing that, man? Let's see.
Well, it was a day of portage, but like you were like a day, meaning you were like in and out because there were so many locks that you had to go in and out of. Yeah. A day of portage, like a full day of portage, would be crazy.
I love the idea of doing like a cheesesteak based hunt, though. Man, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think did we use cheesesteak in one of our test hunts? I think we had like food based like menu items as one of those. You have to like go to know what restaurants had on their menus and where could you be in proximity to those. That maybe we'll pull that one out at some point.
Yeah, maybe they have to like re-rank our favorite cheesesteak places, or something like that. Come up with what our solve is to find location.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else?
No, Finn, you were right. You might have missed that part of it, but that I actually went to the bus depot and pulled up that as like an exact recreation of what that parking lot and that bus depot looked like. There aren't photos from the first Student Inc. bus lot, but we looked at satellite images and like really faithfully recreated that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
See a few other people type in.
Yeah, there's not a newsletter. We'll get one together at some point. We both have full-time jobs in addition to doing this, so it's a lot to sometimes get.
Full-time plus, I would say.
Yeah, the week this launched was like my busiest week of the year, and I also was like sick, so I worked like 100 and something hours that week, and then
one thing we didn't tell you guys. One thing we didn't tell you guys, we went like pretty dark after Vail 1. The 3 weeks immediately following folk finding Vail 1 were like pretty insane with like our kids being really sick. I think Paul's family was in the hospital a couple of times. Like my kids were in bad shape. We were like at a low coming out of Vail 1, so that's why it took 2 weeks for us to turn around to get Vail 2 going. But everybody's good. Everybody's fine, thankfully. We prevailed, and we're proud of how Vail 2 turned out. I know that it was, for some people, new clue types are tough, so we do want to bring fan favorite past clue types back in and have them like kind of regularly, so that you're not always feeling like you're learning new, 3 new things every time. If you're learning 1 new clue or 2 new clue types, we think that's a good thing. But I think with the window clue now, had more people realize that earlier on, I think a lot more people would have been on the thread of in and Huff and House and once you Google, or Wikipedia for that park.
The second time we do, it'll be a lot easier. Same like we were saying for Straight Line Missions too. The next time it'll be a lot easier to get to a solve, I think, because of the nature of understand the mechanic from the beginning.
Corwin, it sounds like you're proposing that as a punishment. Only Jeff and Paul have to go search for it. Can't stop till you find it.
I'm pretty sure Dan and Ericles are going to put it in like a nice pile of poison ivy for us.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I see a few more typing.
Yeah, I still see a couple people typing. We'll give them a minute.
The find window, I will say, for this one, we intentionally made it so that the find window was 8 day 10, 11, or whatever the next one was, because we thought, okay, either someone's finding it a little early or then we're finding a little late.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. The find window might actually fall in a sweet spot for the city hunt. It might be like right in that last few mid-range there.
Fishy girl, it is definitely a priority of ours at some point to have something in Jockey Hollow. Not necessarily a hiding a treasure there, but to do some kind of event in Jockey Hollow. We feel like it would be really fun.
Yeah. Would we be winners if we switch size? I won't speak for Paul, but me personally, I'm so bad at riddles. The most treasure hunts that are out there, I don't even know where to start, and I feel frustrated by that, which is why we, created Veil and wanted to do something, that's a little bit different. I feel like if this were a treasure hunt that I was participating in, I would be like, oh hell yeah, this is finally something that's in my lane with all the weird kind of things and avenues that I like, which is maps and history and whatever else. So I think that I would probably be in good shape. I certainly would not have the dedication to go out and hike that all of you have. I would be probably overcome with self doubt about my choices and not make it out as much as I would want to. But that's that's about is that I do get a guaranteed hike with every one of these.
Guys, I was obsessed with a couple hunts before ours. I would stop at nothing to try and find it. I'm just throwing it out there. I was ready to drive 6 hours for a previous hunt, and I had my backpack was ready to leave when that one was found. So I won't get into that. But let's see. Yeah, Veil meetup will be a ton of fun. Will we ever do ciphers? Ciphers are tough for us because of the inevitability that an AI is going to be able to solve whatever we do. We've looked into it a couple times. It's not ruling it out ever. We might do something, really complex at some point, but there's just a lot of tools online that can help you get them figured
in my
out.
mind, the way that I've thought at the moment anyway around that is that we don't do ciphers with letters. We do them with like symbols or something that then could be translated over, but that's like not an easy thing to relay to people. So we thought about it. We know that's kind of a treasure hunting avenue that a lot of people like. So we're looking at ways that we could do that.
Mm-hmm. Riddling Klingon. Let's see. There's some really fun possibilities with the next hunt. There's a lot of people talking about us putting it in Kensington in the middle of Zombie Row there.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
I'm not saying anything, but that's been the prevailing theme early on. So we'll see how it yeah. We're not going to put it I won't say where we will and won't put it, but we're not going to put you in grave danger at going anywhere that
Pope, I don't know what rash puzzles are. What is that? Dan, I lived in Philly for some time. I feel you, dog.
Yeah. I worked for a little while. It was rough over there. Jared, the hunt that I was referencing was Skydrop.
Oh, what hunts is Paul obsessed with? Oh yeah, we were both obsessed with Skydrop. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all I talked about for a long time.
We were obsessed with the Fen hunt too, but it was way shorter lived because how far away we were from it.
Yep.
Is Weehawken? Is that what that translates to? Or are you saying, oh, we as in small?
Yeah.
I almost put a cranberry clue because I think Perkiomen means land of the cranberries or something like that, but we didn't. We switched away from that route. Where the coordinates posted, where its exact location was. Yeah, our coordinates. We'll post it. We're within 10 or 15 feet. For this one, for Veil 1, it was exact to the 6th digit. For this one, it's within 10 or 15 feet. But yes, we will post.
We don't have the same measuring tool for but we will for the third one. Cool. All right, I don't see anybody typing. I think we're probably in a good spot, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing you all, many of you anyway, for the first city hunt. And then, the next hunt or two after that, we will have another large regional hunt that'll be, in this area, building off of this area, and then another city hunt. We'll see how this first one goes, and then we look forward to doing that again if you guys like it.
Yep.
Certainly, NYC. You got to spread the word there, Pope, so that we can, we're trying to figure out how we can crack into these communities of people. Where, all of you, we appreciate your involvement here, and we know a number of you have been spreading the word. So thank you so much for doing that. It's awesome to count you all as internet friends who one day will meet, in Jockey Hollow, and I don't know, bring a few beers out in the Jockey Hollow. Which maybe is not legal. I shouldn't say that.
In Jockey Hollow, it'll be a blast. We just have to make sure we get Open Diddy there.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you for the next hunt.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. All right. Bye.
Yeah. Paul, I'm going to call you to talk next hunt.
Okay, sounds good.